am doing two lives at the same time. I am on YouTube over here and TikTok over here because what's happening is I'd like to save my lives, and every time I do, and I try to put them in YouTube, downloaded from TikTok, the sound is off. Even when I take it and go and put it in other video editing apps, it's still not correct. So this is my second day doing this. So I'm trying this out. Now, I did some thinking about the live format, and it has changed immensely since November 4th. November 4th, I started doing lives on TikTok, and I had this whole format, this whole thing that I was going to do. I was going to talk about the principles of real leadership, daily personal accountability, interact with people. And what I found is that people like to be entertained during lives. And so I did some more research and decided I wasn't going to do that. And then I added poll questions, got some answers, didn't get some answers. And then I even went so far as to have people tell me their tactics, because I do have turnaround tactics, to see how that would go. And so it's been quite interesting. So from November 4th, today's December 25th, you'll see this at some point in the future because it will be on my YouTube channel. And here's what I've discovered. So I've been researching human behavior for the last 10 years. And what I've discovered is that people need to hold themselves personally accountable. As soon as I say that, the numbers drop off. Let me see what this person just said, because that went, hey, I'm doing well today. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing well as well. So, and I'm just wanting to understand. So if anybody is on the live that's willing to tell me, when I say personal accountability, what's the first thing you think of? Go ahead and type it for those of you who are there. When I say personal accountability, you told yourself personally accountable. What's the first thought that comes to your mind? And for those of you who are on YouTube, and when you see this later, go ahead and type it in. I do check my comments and I can come back and see that. But I'm just interested. So what is it that comes to your mind when you hear daily personal accountability? See? So I'm actually watching people drop off and join, and I just think it's interesting that that's taking place right now. It's quite interesting that it is just dropping. I think, wow. So the people who just joined, when I say daily personal accountability, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What are you thinking? You should really, too bad when the live is over, you can't see this. This is quite interesting. So, daily personal accountability, as people are waiting for their holiday season to show up, people to come to your house and everything. When I say daily personal accountability, what are you thinking? Anyone? Now everybody feels like they're back in high school. Their teacher has just asked them for engineers, they'll get this P versus NP. That still hasn't been solved to my knowledge yet. So when you hear the words daily personal accountability, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? See, I got my work cut out for me. That's what my daughter consistently tells me. So daily personal accountability. And it's people coming on and coming off. And coming on and coming off. Daily personal accountability. Daily personal accountability. So my research has shown that when people actually do make the decision to hold themselves personally accountable, they can access their best. They can access their best. It's really just that simple. Your best is on the other side of your daily personal accountability. Your best. Your best. Not some cookie cutter best that could be handed to you by somebody else, but actually your best is on the other side For the people who just joined, there's a question on the table. When you hear the words daily personal accountability, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? Be so bold and type something up and say what it is. Daily personal accountability. When I say daily personal accountability, it's the first thought that comes to your mind. First words. What's up? What you thinking? Preach? Okay, I'll preach. Wow, daily. I said daily. Y'all don't hear me. Personal accountability for the people in the back. Touch your neighbor and say daily. She said daily, y'all. Personal accountability. Do I need to put my preacher hat on in order for this to make sense? Daily personal accountability. What are your thoughts on that? And that's the difficulty. So imagine having penicillin, having the cure. Penicillin is used. My sister's allergic to penicillin, but there are a lot of people who can use penicillin. And penicillin is inside of a lot of different medications. And it was a cure-all at one point. And so I have the answer to human development. I have the answer to advance the human race. It's called daily personal accountability. And it is a foreign concept because for as many people that jumped on the live and jumped off the live, and people that will see this later because it's going on my YouTube channel because I'm streaming it on my tablet over here, for as many people that have heard it, your brain is like buffering. Because I'm saying daily personal accountability. I'm not saying you need to go, you need to be accountable. Shame on you. Because if I added all of that to it and I packaged it, then you'd be able to use context clues. But by me just simply saying daily personal accountability, you need to hold yourself personally accountable every single day. Your brain doesn't know what to do with that information. You don't know what to do with it. But it's taken me 10 years, the theory of personal accountability, along with the 74 principles of real leadership, to say this is how you take control of your life. This is how you absolutely 100% take control of your life. Because there hasn't been any advancement in human behavior in thousands and thousands of years. We keep behaving the same way, and history keeps repeating itself over and 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 over again. Why? Because you have free will as a human being, and you have the ability to be accountable, personally accountable every day, and you have the ability to be personally unaccountable every single day for as long as you are here on the planet Earth. And that is the problem. And I have said this on previous lives. The problems that you have in your life with respect to other human beings boil down to two things: a lack of daily personal accountability and a lack of leadership. And that's what the 74 principles of leadership are for, as well as the theory of personal accountability. Now, I have done a lot of things in my life since I've left my corporate job. I've been a speaker, a public speaker, a motivational speaker. I've been a business trainer slash consultant, a strategic advisor. I've worked with nonprofits. I've helped people do business in multiple continents. And what I know to be true is that at the base of everything, success and failure for all of those things that I have participated in was people who held themselves personally accountable. So there are business owners that I helped way back in 2016, and they're still in business today because they were personally accountable to the things that I taught them. And then there are people who are no longer in business because they were personally unaccountable. Everything that happens in your life is a direct result of you being personally accountable. Okay, hey Chase, how are you doing? And welcome back. Hey Chase, I have a question for you. When you hear daily personal accountability, what do you think? What's the first thought that comes to your mind? Thank you for the update. I believe that. Jean, what do you believe? Is it Jean or Jean? Which one is it? I want to, and then if you type it, how will I? It's the only thing I have a problem with the lives is because I'm like, I wish I could see y'all too, but we have to be on Zoom for that to happen. So daily personal accountability, what is it that you think about when you hear that for the first time? Where does your mind go? Because that's what I am the creator of. I developed the theory of personal accountability and the 74 principles of real leadership. And that is the answer to human development. We haven't advanced as people in thousands and thousands of years. And I see on social media and everywhere, we talk about the left, the right, the Dems, the Republicans, the gender, and everything else. But if we just would start holding ourselves personally accountable on a daily basis, most of these issues that we have would resolve themselves instantaneously. So, yeah, when I say daily personal accountability, what is the first thought that comes to your mind? And people are buffering because it is a new concept. If you Google personal accountability, what's going to show up is a bunch of work things. How do you hold your teams accountable? How do you hold people accountable as a parent? But the daily aspect, how do you get the best out of everybody? And that's what I know how to do. I know how to take a person who people are like, yeah, and turn them into a superstar because of the principles of real leadership and daily personal accountability. And it takes 365 consecutive days. And when people hear that, you think you're buffering when I say daily personal accountability. But when I say 365 days, people are like, oh, I think I hear my mama calling me. I gotta go. I can't do that. And so, yeah, that's the thing that I have been called to the universe to do, to the world to do, is to teach you how to do that so you can access your best. Because most of the people on the lives, I only work with adults, and most of you are sitting in some type of situation that's unaccountable, and you don't want to be in it, but you don't want to be accountable to get out of it. So you'd rather sit there and complain about it and then hope that it turns into something else. But I've never seen a complaint turn into a conquer. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. I've never seen a complaint turn into a conquer. I've been here 50 years and I have never ever seen complaining turn into conquering. It just doesn't work like that. So you are in a bunch of average, regular situations because of your caste that you were born into, because of people telling you that that's where you need to be. And so you're there. And you don't even believe that daily personal accountability is possible for you. You don't even believe that it's available to you. But it actually is. It actually is available to you and to you. 100%. It's a lot easier to just be unaccountable, to say, forget it. This is my lot in life. This is what was given to me. And I'm going to just try to make the best of a worse situation. I've never seen that happen either. I make the best of the best situations. And the answer is daily personal accountability. That's the answer to everything. I challenge you to give me a situation and I not tell you how, if it's humans involved, how daily personal accountability can actually change that situation, between daily personal accountability and leadership. And here's the thing: when you become an adult, I don't work with children because you're still under your parents' care. When you become an adult, everybody's like, oh my God, you're 15 years old, you think you got everything together. By the time you get 18, you're like, whoa. By the time you get 25, you're like, whoa. Throw some children, a marriage, a divorce, some bad credit, a bankruptcy, a job loss, and all of that, rebuilding, refurbishing your life and everything. And the next thing you know, you're just like, whew, this is just challenging and this is difficult. But it's not. Everything as it comes to you is for you to strengthen your skills so that you can become better and better and better as you get older and older and older. So all those experiences they show up so that you can just sharpen your skill set. And that's why you got and I did a live about 4 weeks ago. It was called How Many Skills You Got? I borrowed the line from 21 Savage, a lot or not. And the reason why you don't have a lot of skills is because you're not focused on your daily. You don't believe that you can win the day. So how are you going to win the week? How are you going to win the month? How are you going to win the year after year, decade after decade? You unfortunately don't believe that's possible. So for those of you who are driving in and driving out, what's the first thoughts that come to your mind when you hear the words daily personal accountability? I'm Dr. Donna. I developed the theory of personal accountability as well as the 74 principles of real leadership. And I'm telling you, it's the answer to human behavior, to change human behavior and not just change it so people start behaving, but that people start accessing their best. Best is actually possible for everybody, for every adult. It is actually possible. Your best is actually possible for you. And that doesn't mean, oh, you're going to have a gazillion billion dollars and live in a mansion. It means your everyday best, the best of you. You will have access to your best and you will be offering those around you your best. And the only way that occurs is to hold yourself personally accountable. For those of you who have just joined, what is your definition? When you hear, not definition, but when you hear the words daily personal accountability, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? I've been asking that. Now, For people on YouTube, you can't see this, so people are jumping on and jumping off on TikTok, jumping on and jumping off. I haven't done enough lives on TikToks for people to understand that I'm on live and, get notified. Plus, it's a holiday, so people may be busy, but less. More people are on TikTok because they're in between things. And so, for those of you who have just joined, when I say daily personal accountability, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? Now, believe it or not, and when the live is over, it'll tell me how many people joined the live, how many people stayed. And currently, I would say there probably has been about 50 or 60 people that have jumped on and jumped off. And no one has answered the question. No one has answered the question. But if I literally talked about politics right now, people will be answering and chiming in. If I literally talked about anything with gender, race, or any of those hot topics, if I talked about the holidays right now, if I asked people, hey, do you celebrate the holiday season? Then there would be all of this engagement happening. But when I talk about personal accountability, I am responsible for everything that I do and everything that I fail to do, because that's the definition of daily personal accountability. People can't answer that. And it's because we haven't been told, yes, you actually can be personally accountable for your life. And when all humans 18 and above decide to make that decision, person by person by person by person, across probably the 6 billion adults that live in the world is going to change. The world is going to change. When you wake up and say, I am personally accountable for everything that I do, and my objective every day is to be my best and win the day, everything in your life is going to change. Everything, everything in your life is going to change. And something is a good idea. I actually have a YouTube video, and it's a 60-second strategy. I got about 200 and something 60-second strategies. You should go to YouTube. And people on YouTube, you can just go to the playlist and you look at them in 60 seconds or less. I got 240 different topics. But one of the topics on the 60-second strategy is the ideal-o-meter. And the ideal-o-meter is you have an idea and you present it to your network, family, friends, colleagues, business partners, teammates, team members. And if the people say, yeah, it's a great idea, go for it. Bad idea. Because if it's already popular and people think it's a great idea currently, no bueno. Scrap that puppy immediately. I watched some of the clips of Andre 3000. I think it was a GQ interview before he dropped his instrumental album, CD, however it works now. And he said that there were people that said, hey, y'all, was a bad idea. In his network, in the studio, friends said, man, that ain't gonna work. It's terrible. Don't do that. Don't do that. One of his most popular songs. So that's the whole point with daily personal accountability. I simply can't it's got to be 75 people by now. 75 people have asked the question, when you hear daily personal accountability, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? And no one has been able to answer that. So what does that tell me? Based upon the ideal-o-meter that I created, this is amazing. And plus, I have 1,500 firsthand observations. I've been the first test subject of it all. And daily personal accountability. How? Hey, Lee, how are you doing today? What is how? What are you asking how about? So daily personal accountability. Because today's topic is, what is the first words that come, or are you saying how is the first thing that came to your mind when I said, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear daily personal accountability? So if you could clarify that for me, that would be great. Thank you. So yes, daily personal accountability. So the ideal-o-meter is on my YouTube channel in the 60-second strategy playlist. How do I hold me accountable? Right. Okay, Lee. So you just jumped on, and so what happens is I saw you followed me from the last time that you were on the live too. So, and I did go to your page and I watched some of your videos as well, because that's what I do. If somebody follows me, I check them out, see what's happening. So here's what I will say. I am the creator of the theory of personal accountability and the 74 principles of real leadership. I work with adults to teach them how to hold themselves personally accountable for 365 consecutive days. For the last 10 years, I've been doing research on human behavior. I have over 1,500 first-hand observations. And what I have found is that the reason why there hasn't been a change in human behavior in thousands of years is because people don't hold themselves personally accountable because they haven't been taught how to do it, which is what I do. It takes 365 days to hold yourself personally accountable because you have to go through every season for every reason. And if you do it for 90 days, and I'm sure you have tried programs in the past and they haven't worked because you have to rewire your brain. So your brain has to go from unaccountable to accountable to best. And it actually takes 365 days to do that. Now, once you've learned how to do that, then you're good to go. Now, you can go to my website. You can go to my website, theturnarowndoctor.com, sign up for RO365. The best part is you pick your price. I don't even have a price point for it because it's so it's so difficult for people to do. I don't even want price to be an obstacle for you. But that's what it is, and that's how it works. And yes, really. Yeah, if you go to theturnarowndoctor.com, you'll see it's been that way for several years. So yeah, that's what it is. So it's daily personal accountability. It's 365 consecutive days, and it actually takes you about 15 minutes a day to get done what you need to get done. So feel free to go on over there, check it out, and then you can decide for yourself. So exactly, daily personal accountability. Daily personal accountability is what you need in order to access your best on a daily basis. That's what you need. And that's what I've spent my 10 years doing in order to make sure, because like I told people in the beginning of the live, I used to be a speaker. I used to be a business consultant, a strategist, and all of this thing. I used to be a speaker and all of those things. And I used to consult people 30 days at a time. I would tell them what to do, and they couldn't keep the momentum going. And that's when I discovered it's going to take longer than 30. You can't do it and check on people every 30 days. You have to be there every day in and day out, checking and checking day in and day out to make sure that you get it, and you're rewiring your thought process. And so that's why I only work with adults, so that because when you're a child, you still are under your parents' tutelage, and I'm not about to interfere with any of that whatsoever. So that's basically what I'm asking the group as you join and drop off and join and drop off. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the words personal accountability? Personal accountability, daily personal accountability was the first thought that comes to your mind. And again, we haven't had a change in human behavior in thousands and thousands of years. We keep repeating the same vicious cycles over and over and over again, and we can't even access our best because we're not holding ourselves personally accountable day in and day out. And I'm talking about world leaders all the way down to someone who just graduated from high school. All of that in between. We give ourselves permission to be off the hook. So right now, I'm very sleepy. I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning and I have an annoying pain in the side of my body. And I have been up, and I cannot take Motrin because I have a G6 deficiency. But I committed to doing a live every single day. So it doesn't matter that I got this piercing severe pain in my side right now, that when I'm done, I'm going to take a massager that has a heat component to it and put it on my side. But this live has to be done right now. So that's what I'm talking about when I say daily personal accountability. Now, I could have gotten this live like, oh, y'all, oh my God, oh, I can't, but that wouldn't be the point. Yes, that wouldn't be the point at all. It would make absolutely no sense to do that to you because you don't need to be experiencing my pain right now. This is just, part of being 50 and being old, and sometimes aches and pains occur. My commitment to you is, like I said, from November 4th going forward, is that I would be on lives every single day, no matter what's taking place. And that's what I've been doing because that's daily personal accountability. And I'm old school. So you give somebody your word. All you got is your word in this day and age. Well, really in life. And so that's what it's about. So the few of you who have just joined, when you hear the term daily personal accountability, what is it that's the first thought that comes to your mind? Now, again, nothing's happening on YouTube. I'm live streaming on YouTube and on TikTok because when I live stream on TikTok and try to download it, yes, word is bond. Yep. So when I try to do that, the sound doesn't, because of the bits per I forgot what it's called, frame rate. It doesn't transfer over. And even when I put it in a different app to make the sound match up, it doesn't. So I'm live streaming on YouTube as well. So for those of you who have missed it, you could just go to Turnaround Doctor YouTube channel and you can start and see the whole thing from the beginning. And so that was what I'll do, because I'm doing these lives and I like to keep all my content and 30 days in TikTok and they get rid of it. So now I'm being able to do this at the same time, simultaneously. So, daily personal accountability. That's the answer to every human problem that you actually have in your life. Every human problem is, I guarantee you, if somebody has hurt you, if somebody has harmed you, if somebody has wronged you, if somebody has done something good for you, it is the direct result of two things: leadership and daily personal accountability, which is why I created the 74 Principles of Real Leadership and the theory of personal accountability, which says that you go from unaccountable to accountable to best 45 degrees plus your daily. That actually equals your best. And so, with that being said, I think I'm at about 25 minutes, and I just wanted to have that message conveyed. I was actually doing some more research because I'm always updating my research, and I wanted to ensure that I am definitely correct when I say that if you can't even say what is daily personal accountability, that's what's actually taking place. It's not politicians, it's not world leaders, it's literally individual people making unaccountable decisions multiple times a day. And then it just rolls up into billions of people being personally unaccountable at any given time on any given day. And then they just end up meshing. And now you see this, and it feels like, so let's use a medical example. So if you go, and then your nose starts running and your eyes start running and you got a headache and your body aches. Now I'm going to use flu as an example. So now and you're shivering and you don't have an appetite. And so you go to the doctor and they say, oh, well, what are your symptoms? And you tell them all your symptoms, and then they say, okay, got it. You have the flu. And now you can go do something about it. So when we start saying it's the left, it's the right, it's world leaders, it's the economy, it's the banking system, it's corporations and all that, that's just symptoms. That's actually not what is the actual issue. What is wrong with human beings? Why are we so broken? And religious people will say sin, and I understand that as well. I believe in God, but sin isn't enough. That isn't enough, because we have free will. So every day that adults wake up, they have the ability to be accountable, personally accountable or not, at any given point throughout the day. And so because you haven't been taught day by day by day for an entire year, you don't even actually know renewing your mind. Exactly. You don't even know how to be personally accountable when it's Christmas, when you got a pain in your side. I had a bone marrow aspiration in September and I can't take any pain medication. So I had to have a procedure and come home. And the next day, because I helped my daughter in her business, it's a very physical business, I'm back out there the next day helping her with that physical business because of daily personal accountability. And I committed to teaching her how to start a business from the ground up. And that's what's taking place. So society says it's the holidays, we can take off. It's the weekend, we could take off. You had a bad night, you could take off. You're sick. I mean, they didn't find out that nothing was wrong with me. It started in March and it was November before we got all the tests and all the results back. But I have posted every day 106, 105 to 114 times from March to November every single day. I've read 48 books this year. I've done book reviews. My YouTube channel uploads, I uploaded 1,946 YouTube videos just on YouTube this year, while all of those other things were taking place. And that's what daily personal accountability is. It not only gets you from being unaccountable to accountable, but to best. Do you understand that? You get to be at best. My YouTube channel is going to hit 9,000 videos by the end of the year. I know what today is. It should be right around there if the math is mathing. And those are videos. I had my YouTube channel for 10 years. Stop making excuses. Exactly. I've had my YouTube channel for 10 years and it's all me. It's me with Snapchat lenses, my content, everything. So I'm not interviewing anybody. I don't have anybody else's content on my channel. And when I started the channel, I had no idea that it was going to grow into something like that. I was just putting it there to put my book reviews on there. I had about 8 playlists initially. I think last time we counted is about 110 playlists, 110 different playlists on my YouTube channel. But that's daily personal accountability. And I started posting on Instagram December 16, 2015. And I've posted every day on Instagram for the last 8 years. And I've been making my own content in January. It'll be for the last 6 years. But that's what you can access. So when I'm telling you, you can access best, I'm telling you, you can access things I didn't even know it was possible. I had no idea. And now YouTube, because of the terabytes, because of the gaming, you really have the ability to do so much. And that's just on social media. I'm in my 10th annual book challenge. I have read a book a week starting in November of 2014, and now I'm in 10. So I have 9 different book challenges that are also on my YouTube channel as well. But I read a book a week, and then I just take week 26 and week 52 off to start for the next book review. So these are all things that are possible with daily personal accountability. These are things that are possible when you hold yourself personally accountable. I use my daughter as an example because I don't use people that work with me. I want them to maintain their anonymity. But my daughter started out on TaskRabbit in February of 2021. And she is now she just hit 1,300 projects the one day this week. So that's projects. That's not, she's put together thousands and thousands of pieces of furniture, mounted things. We just left the Caesars Palace on Monday for doing a display at one of the retail shops in Caesars and the forum shops. And so and she just turned 21 last week as well. So, and obviously she's in the program, she's done the programs as well. So my point is that you can actually access things that you never ever thought was possible. Never ever thought was possible, because you're going to open up a whole different side of your brain, and it's called best. It's called best. That's what's going to happen. Hi, Dan. How are you today? So that's what takes place. But you can't do that sitting around a bunch of people excusifying and blame and doing this. It actually doesn't work. But daily personal accountability actually does work. It actually does work when you hold yourself personally accountable. And like I said, for the people that are just joining, when you hear daily personal accountability, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And so it's amazing when I tell people some of the things that I've accomplished, and then they're just like, but yeah, but how, but like, I mean, people used to tell me I was a human. They told me I was a superhero. I'm a robot. A colleague of mine called me a computer the other day, and I explained it like this. I go to bed between 9 and 10 p.m. and I wake up every day, 7 days a week, 365 days out the year, as long as the higher power of God will have me do that. And I wake up at 3:50. I start posting on social media by 4 a.m. and I finish posting on social media at about 8 or 9 o'clock, unless we have a late appointment. But I create 14 to 17 posts a day, and that puts me at about 105 to 113 a day across all of my social media platforms. And I do it from my phone. I literally do everything from my phone. Every now and then I have to turn on my computer. Computers are slow, software is slow, but that's because of daily. Now, that didn't start out that way. Again, like I said in the middle of the live, I started on Instagram December 16, 2015, and I used to just have one post. There were no stories then. It was just the vignettes and the feed. And then on January 30th of 2018, I started making my own content. And it was just one per day, one per day, one per day. And then the more, thank you very much, with the live, and that's daily personal accountability. And believe it or not, I actually have a pain in my side right now. I was telling Lee that my side hurts, but I'm still here because I promised that I would be here every day, because I got to walk the walk. I was in the military, and leaders walk the walk. We don't talk the walk, but we walk the walk. And so I have been here, and some days we have gotten in late and had 3 or 4 appointments. One day we had 4 appointments, and I still made it to the live because that was my. But my point to you is that when you hold yourself personally accountable, when you learn how to do it, yes, ma'am, it is discipline. When you learn how to do that, 365 consecutive days, plus the 74 principles of real leadership, can't nobody stop you. There will be nothing that you can't do, because when you didn't feel well, you'd still be holding yourself personally accountable. When it didn't look like some money was coming in, you still holding yourself personally accountable, so that you're ready for whatever life has to offer. And there's this thing in buildings called a mud sill. It's the foundation. It goes from one side of the foundation of a structure to the other side. Look it up. That's what daily personal accountability is. It's that foundation in order for you to grow your life. So you got this strong 365 consecutive day foundation, and now you just go up. You end up just building this very wonderful vertical existence. That's all because of your daily discipline, day in and day out. Like I said, it takes 15 minutes or less a day. But that 365, that's the part that really makes people think, and it takes faith. And I said that on the live yesterday, that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And that has nothing to do with religion, but you got to have faith that every day that you wake up, you're going to be personally accountable. And when you can do that, you will become personally accountable, and you will remove all of the people around you that are not personally accountable because they will be in your way. And you won't like how it feels when you start hearing them excuse lying. You won't want to listen to it anymore. And I have a quote, I have a lot of quotes. One of the quotes that the exit says is, stuck people stick together. So it's like this camaraderie in your stuckness, in your unaccountability. You just all them, but this is what we family, we friends, we sorrows, and all this other stuff, and you're just stuck. You haven't advanced, you haven't done anything significant, you're just stuck together. You know what I'm saying? Like gorilla glued together. But hey, pull it apart, lick your wounds and keep it moving. But the answer again is daily personal accountability. So as I close, because I do need to lay down and put this thing on my side, is this: for the rest of this year, and I'm gonna say for the rest of your life, just start as you scroll through social media and everything. They need to. They need to. And I said this about ago, but do this. I need to. And see, this hurts. It's ergonomic unsound. Your wrist doesn't like how this feels, but this is the only thing that you can actually control. But look at how many, if you got time, get a piece of paper. Remember back in the day, we used to do tick marks, tick, 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 when you get to 5, cross it over, and just listen for they need tos. They need tos instead of I need to. I need to. Because this is simple. And if I asked again, like I said, what does the government need to do? What does what do management at your job need to do? I mean, people, I would be scrolling trying to hurry up and see what everybody else is saying. But then if I said, well, what do you need to do to get better at your job? Crickets again. There would be this silence. It would be deafening. It would be so much silence. So daily personal accountability is the answer. I've done a lot of things in my life, and it has been because of days. And that's what it was. I got paramedic. Okay, that's really helpful. Thanks a lot. I'm going to work out. Okay, good. Have a great workout. Enjoy yourself. That's awesome. I'll end with this. There are 100, I'm awake for 100. Most people are awake for 119 hours a day. I mean, a week. So most people, average person is awake 17, 18 hours a day. I'm 17 hours. So that gives me 119 hours a week. That's 119 hours to get stuff done over 52 weeks over time, year after year after year after year after year after year. So that's how you should be able to accomplish things. And like I've done this at the beginning of my lives. I said, take your age, multiply by 365. That's the amount of days that you've been here. And that's the amount of time you had to accomplish things in your life. So when you say you don't have time and you say those things, this is just excuse of mine, because I've been here for 18,000 and some change amount of days. I'm 50. And so I have 18,000 days worth of things that I've been doing, wisdom and things that I've learned, mistakes that I've made and everything. And that's what you have to start doing, because the world says, look at it in years. You got milestones. You turn 1, 5, 10, 15, 16, 18, 21, 35, 30, 40, 50. And so it looks like it's just these year things. But when you start looking at your day, when you start looking at your 19, your 17, 18 hours a day, now you got to do something about that. And then that's why everybody keep doing this. Because if everybody pointing, no one's paying attention to the fact that you haven't done anything. You haven't accomplished a doggone thing. You haven't done it, and then you get to make excuses and, oh, you understand, I was raised right, I didn't get enough hugs. All that happened to me. All of that happened to me, everything. And it's just part of the story. It's just part of the story. It just makes us relatable to understand that some unaccountable people did some unaccountable things to me, but it didn't kill me. Just made me stronger, made me more aware. And it still did. So while people were doing all kind of things, my family on drugs and alcohol, I'm at school, I'm getting degrees, I'm getting promoted at work, because I'm responsible for me. I'm personally accountable for me. I could have used all of that as an excuse. My dad's an alcoholic, my mother's a drug addict. I could have used all of that, and I would have got some sympathy. People would have cut me some slack, but I also wouldn't be Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers either. So I held myself to a higher standard and said, I'm not going to be that. I'm going to be something else, and I'm going to make a difference, and then I'm going to make people pay it forward, and they're going to make a difference too. So that's what daily personal accountability is all about, and that's my life's mission currently, because that's the answer to every human problem that we have, is a lack of daily personal accountability and a lack of leadership. And when you put those two together, everything is possible. So thank you all for taking time. For those of you who celebrate this day, thank you for taking time from your holiday to see what I was talking about. Thank you, Lee, for answering. You are the only person who answered the question of all the people who jumped on and jumped off the line. So I asked God, I'm like, can you just send one person to answer the question and respond? I mean, nobody responded to it. So Lee, I appreciate you for doing that. You just don't know. I'm like, woo, yeah. So that thank you. That's the best thing that I can say to you. And so all of you go off and have a great rest of your day. I thought I have a great and wonderful have a great day and wonderful. Okay, thank you for that, Mitch. But I started my new year in November. So my new year is November 1st. And that's how I ended up starting the lives on November 4th. But I do appreciate you with the well wishes. You're welcome, Lee. So I do appreciate you for the well wishes. But yeah, I start many years ago. I realized everybody's starting in January 1st. So if I start in November, I'm 60 days ahead of the game for sure. Plus, it's still fall. It's kind of warm in Las Vegas, and I just like the new year in November, the alliteration of it all. That just makes me feel better. So yeah, my new year. I'm what almost 60 days in on my new year. So you all have a great rest of your day, night, evening. Most of the people that watch this are in the U.S., but sometimes there's somebody in one across the pond watching as well. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, your assignment is as you scroll through or listen to people talk, just start listening to the unaccount. This right here is the language of unaccountability. They need to. Why didn't they? They know better. They. As soon as you hear that, that is the language of unaccountability. And the language of personal accountability is, what do I need to do? What do I need to change? What do I need to do? Fix you first. That's what I say. So thank you very much. You all have a great rest of your day. I appreciate you.